A new day here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rich Herrera. That, of course, is the Dragon Ball today. A very special day. It's opening day 2022, not only of the Major League Baseball season, but it's opening day for the Wildcats Radio 1290 stream. We are now available on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com, both audio and now a video version of this radio show. We're also now available on YouTube officially, and since it's a formal occasion today, I thought I'd dress up and wear my best tuxedo. We're also available now for the world to see us on Facebook Live, both of those at Wildcats 1290. So, it's opening day all over the place. Major League Baseball, of course, our streaming service. I'm excited about that. We've got all kinds of breaking news, and most importantly, you can see us online. So thank you so much for joining us on the program today. My name is Rich Herrera. Thanks for joining us. Again, we're coming to you live from the studios of Wildcats Radio 1290. They're brought to you by Casino del Sol. Sol Sports, bet easy, win big, bet local. Casino del Sol, my sidekick, the Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing all right, Rich. Doing okay.
All right. I'm pretty excited about the new streaming service that folks can now watch this little radio show.
Yes, they can. It is
everywhere.
It is, as you said, it is a new day.
Is this available worldwide? Like, can you watch YouTube everywhere? There you go. It's a new day. Can you watch YouTube everywhere?
Yeah, you can pretty much watch YouTube
So
anywhere.
you know what? Maybe we'll bring peace to everybody in the world, or at least some sports talk.
At the very least, some sports talk, but
Okay.
I don't know about peace because we sometimes get into our own little arguments here.
That's true. All right, that's true. Kill that. All right, we got a lot to get to on the program today, but most importantly, we're thrilled to have you with us as we launch this next chapter of Wildcats Radio 1290. Again, it's opening day 2022 Major League Baseball season. We're going to talk about that quite a bit on the program today. The Masters also going on with Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods playing in the Masters, shoots a 71. It was just a little over a year ago. They weren't even sure whether he was going to keep his legs, so we're going to talk about that quite a bit on the program today. Also, breaking news as we take the air today, Dave Hickey, Athletic Director, University of Arizona, has had his contract extended, approved by the Board of Regents for the University of Arizona system. We'll talk about that coming up on the program. And we're going to be joined by Dave Rubio today on the program. Dave Rubio just got a contract extension. He's the longest tenured head coach at the University of Arizona. So we'll talk to Dave in the 5 o'clock hour and congratulate him on his new deal. And most importantly, I want to take your telephone calls wherever you happen to be listening to us today. The number for you to call into the program, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We now have emails that you can send us. You can email us at studio at wildcatsradio1290.com, studio at wildcatsradio1290.com, and I think those are the only ways to get a hold of us. You can call, you can email us. Working on restoring our text capabilities, but I don't know how to use the machine, so we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, that we're taking it one step at a time. There's a lot of ways for people to go ahead and reach out to us, though, so it's not like they're without options on that. But you got a lot of options now of how to watch or listen to the show now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now you can watch and listen to the show, and because it's a formal day, it's an exciting day, I decided to wear my tuxedo.
Yes, you did.
I think I look rather sharp. I think I could be a maitre d' in any restaurant in America today.
You could be a maitre d' at a restaurant, or you could be a ring announcer for a big pay-per-view boxing card.
No, because you can't say those words that Michael Buffer says. Those are copywritten.
You can't do that, but you can be just announcing.
Let's get it on! In this quarter, weighing 395 pounds from parts unknown, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. I could do that.
Yeah, you could definitely
do that. You know what Buffer did before he became Michael Buffer? Do you know this?
What did he do before that?
He was a male model. Michael Buffer was a male model.
You know, that doesn't surprise me.
I think he was a Macy's model. I think he worked at Macy's as a male model.
Considering the era when he was probably a model, Macy's, that was a big catalog back in the day.
Well, no, this is in New York City.
Oh,
so he's a New Yorker.
Okay.
Sorry, my bow tie's getting a little tight here. He was a male model in New York, and he was watching the fights from Madison Square Garden with his kids. He told me this. He's come on the radio with me before. And he said that the kid said, Dad, you could do that. And he goes, maybe I could. And he went on audition, and he got the job. And that's how he has become Michael Buffer. And that's, he monitors. Nobody's allowed to say that.
Yep.
That phrase.
No one can say that.
Nobody can say that phrase except for Michael Buffer. So I will do my best. Maybe you never know. Maybe I can go be a ring announcer.
Mm-hmm. I think you could do it with the tuxedo. You definitely look the part.
Either that or I can serve you soup in a fancy restaurant.
Probably.
Let's see. What else do we want to talk about in the program today? We're going to talk about the Masters. We're going to talk about Hickey's extension. We're going to talk about Dave Rubio's extension. Also, today on the program, in a serious note, Julius Holt passed away earlier this week. He was so much a part of this community here in Tucson. This is the part where I like that we get to do live and local radio. Julius was a standout for the University of Arizona, playing for Coach Larry Smith. Then he went on to have an even bigger impact in our community as a counselor, and he worked with at-risk kids. He worked with Child Protective Services, and then he was 30 years involved with local Tucson local Tucson youth football and cheer. In fact, he's in their Hall of Fame. And the day he passed was kind of a shock to everybody because he was only 60 years old, a very short bout where he wasn't feeling well, illness, and like that, gone. So I know it's hit the football community here in Tucson pretty hard, and I know it's hit the University of Arizona Brotherhood of Football pretty hard. So we did have Glenn Howell join us earlier this week, and then Kelvin Ifon came on and joined us, and I wanted to wait just a little bit because it was such a shock to other members of the local football community to have them come on, and a lot of them said, I just need a little bit of time to process all of this. So Lamont Hunley is going to be joining us, who is someone that knew Mr. Holt for so many years, going back to the Larry Smith days at the University of Arizona. He's going to join us on the program coming up today, and we'll reflect on the life and times of Julius Holt and what he meant to this community, what he meant to the Arizona football family as they get ready for spring football coming up on Saturday at noon. And we'll pay tribute to a man that it was funny. I saw David Kelly was talking with David Adams on television the other day, and I saw it popped up on my Facebook feed, so I watched it, and David Adams was talking about, everything he did at university was great, but everything he did after his university time was really even bigger. I mean, he was a big part of the University of Arizona football success, the cornerstone that Jed Fish is rebuilding right now. But the impact that he had on kids, hundreds and thousands of kids at 30 years of coaching and being the commissioner of Tucson youth football, is probably more impactful. And then you take that, what he did with the at-risk kids and working for Child Protective Services and everything else he did. And then he was, I have so much to talk about with the impact that this man made in our community. So Lamont's going to be kind enough to join us coming up here in about a half hour. We'll talk with him about Julius and what he meant to the community. So all of that's on the agenda for today. Number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. The number for you to appear on the program. I'm just amazed. I'm just going to step back right now. The biggest story of the day, of course, is Tiger Woods playing at the Masters. Shoots a 71 his first day back. He hasn't played a round of competitive golf, Dragon Ball, since 500 days.
Yeah,
it's been over 500 days since he's played a competitive round of golf. And if you remember, his accident was a little over a year ago. February 23rd, 2021 was the date of his accident. I remember that day, and there were so many people that were calling in. It was a shock. It was a national story. Would he live? Was some of the original reports? Was he going to lose his leg? Would he ever play golf again? And you're in a accident like that, and a little over a year later, you're playing at Augusta? That's a remarkable story. And then you post a 71 on your first day back, and I know that there's going to be folks that are going to be, oh, man, everything's about Tiger. I don't know, rightfully so. This is an amazing story that if this could happen to anybody, that you're in an accident like that, and then you come back after that, that's a pretty amazing story in itself. And then if it's Tiger Woods, it's an even bigger story. And the fact that he shot a 71, 1 under par today on the first day of the Masters, I mean, you could easily have seen him show up and shoot an 85. People go, okay, golf clap. But the fact that he shot a 71 and he's under par after day one, that's a thing of beauty right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's something to react to right there. And we will. We'll take your telephone calls about that. If you guys want to talk about, is this something that's going to keep you glued to the television for the next 4 days? Today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I love watching the Masters. The Masters, we talked about this yesterday. It's one of those really timeless, traditional sporting events that it's so non-commercial. There's no concert in the middle of it. There's very few advertisers. You don't. It's not the Masters brought to you by Dragon Ball's House of Dragon Balls, right?
No, absolutely.
It's not. I mean, think of everything that we have in sports. Augusta and the Masters is the one thing that really is under-commercialized. It's brought to you by IBM, Coke, and some others. But you don't see their logos plastered everywhere.
It's not on the logo of the event.
It's not on the logo of the event. Now, listen, I've sold sports marketing advertising packages, and when I did it, I would sell anything. I'd sell the official booth water. I'd sell the booth. I'd sell your chair. I'd sell everything to try to make enough money so we make budget for our broadcast. But this one just has something simple to it that's just a thing of beauty to see. We'll take your telephone calls about this, 520-848-1290. So I'm just going to throw this out to everybody in Tucson. Will you be glued to your seats and forsake everything else to watch the Masters? Are you going to be walking around looking at your phone? How's Tiger doing today? Where's Tiger? And better yet, will he make the cut? Those are the things I want to talk about on the program. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290, the number for you to join us. Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you had something to add. Because
no.
now people can see you on the Dragon Ball cam.
They can see me on the Dragon Ball cam. But I was just going to say, right now, just looking at the overall leaderboard as we speak. At the leaderboard as we speak.
Do you get all the golf nuances and all that?
On occasion. There's a couple of them that I'm a little bit shaky on, but I try to go ahead and stay as up to date with my with the vernacular as I possibly can.
Yes.
But right now, just looking at how the leaderboard shapes up, Tiger's sitting in the top 15 right now.
That is a remarkable story unto itself. All right. The number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Listen, I just want your reaction to the fact that Tiger's in the top 12 after being in a horrific car accident, and what he's doing at the Masters today is absolutely remarkable. Remarkable. In fact, it's so big, it actually pushes off everything else today. Everything else is kind of second story today. I mean, it's opening day of Major League Baseball. NFL draft is coming up. I mean, this is going to knock Chris Rock and Will Smith off the front page of every gossip column in America.
I mean, that's a while back. I don't think it was on the first page of any gossip column anymore.
What's that? Chris? No, because Will Smith quit the Academy, and the Academy's still gonna do something again. We're still gonna punish him.
Still figuring that out.
They're still figuring that out. What's the bigger story? I mean, this is a story that knocks everything else off, everything peripheral, off the front page of the newspaper and your websites and what everybody's going to be talking about for the next 4 days. Imagine Sunday comes around, Tiger, if he's in contention,
if he's wearing that red shirt for Championship Sunday,
which means he makes the cut.
Yep. That'll be a lot of eyes on that part of Augusta.
So I'll tell you what I need to do. My nephew and nieces are coming to town. My nephews and nieces are coming to town. I promised I'd take them to Tombstone on Sunday. You know what Uncle Rich is going to be doing?
Be paying attention to the Masters.
Watching the gunfight at the OK Corral with one eye and watching my phone on the other.
It'll be the putt off.
Hey, you kids! You kids, go back into the haunted saloon again. Me and Uncle Rich is going to sit here at Big Nose Kate's because they got a television, so I can see what Tiger does. No, it's okay.
As well, you should.
Hey, go! They're called road apples. Go play with them. No. Yeah.
Don't send the kids off with just the road apple.
Do you know what a road apple is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just thought I'd check. Well, you grew up in Tucson. You got to know what that is. Let's take telephone calls. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. Hey, our turf. Our local celebrity, former Tuffy the Turo, and we're trying to figure out how to get him a costume to be the mascot for this radio show. Welcome, Bear Down. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290. How are you?
Bear Down, Art Turf, former Tuffy Toro, doing very good.
Yes.
In regard to the Tiger Woods situation, definitely so. Too bad Phil won't be in it. But the other consideration for Tiger is his age.
We didn't even talk about that. He's an old man. He's my age.
Yeah, there you go. And as a couple weeks ago, I'm now officially old at 60. I do have a
wait a minute. Okay, so are you wait a minute, hold on. Are you old enough now that you're using your senior discount, and are you embarrassed to use a senior discount?
Not embarrassed. I deserve it. I earned it, and so did Tuffy. And yes, I use it. Definitely so.
Okay.
And I'm a frequent visitor at several locations, and they don't even ask me anymore. That's cool.
Well, I don't know if that's good or not. That's like when you get old enough for them not to check your ID. Like, and I'm at that awkward age where they go, anybody under 40, we're going to check your ID. I'm over 40. I walk in, and either I'm going to just I'm just going to be stubborn and keep my ID in my pants and then make them ask me for it. Or that's even worse, it's awkward when you pull your ID out, you offer it to them, they go, no, you're okay.
Yeah, that happens to me at retail stores, believe it or not. It's like, well, what's this for? It's like for you to do your job.
So I can have that senior discount. I deserve to go to the movies for $5.75.
That's right. And so the other question, now I am old school, definitely old NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball, obviously.
Yes, sir.
Former Tuffy Toro. My question is this. Have you heard the recent information that started in single A about this new wristband situation?
That only a few of them are going to be allowed to have a wristband.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like I said,
well, it's the wristband with all the stuff on
it. I don't like the shift. There's no action.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. If you're old school, then you have to like the shift because the shift was put on by Lou Boudreaux against Ted Williams, so that's as old school as it gets.
Yeah, that is true, but I'm kind of 50-50 because it would be great, but there's no action. And former Tuffy Toro.
Well, hold on. Why is there no action again? Hold on.
It does mean they do research, though, so that's
right.
Cool.
So why do they not have any action against the shift? The reason they don't have any action against the shift is because players aren't good enough hitters anymore to hit the ball the other way. It's pretty simple. If I put three players on one side, one on the other, where do I have a better shot at getting a base hit? Going the other way. Players aren't good enough to do that. Now, Ted Williams was too stubborn to take the ball the other way against the shift, and he was good enough that he could put the ball past three infielders to get a base hit. Hitters today, just not good enough.
That's right. That's why I wish he would be in quantum leap situation and show today's newcomers how to hit.
Nope. They're
like that.
100%. Tuffy, bear down.
Are you?
Go ahead.
Okay, bear down.
Bear down. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
You're the best. I can't wait till we figure out how to get him a costume because we're going to have a mascot for this radio station. Other than Dragon Ball.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll let the former Tuffy Toro. He'll take care of the mascot thing. I'll just be the good producer and just stay behind the board.
You could be his bodyguard.
Why do I got to be the bodyguard?
Because you can't let the mascot walk around without a bodyguard. Little kids will punch him and kick him. And bite him.
I don't I don't know.
Even Chuck E. Cheese has a bodyguard when you go to the restaurant.
That's Charles Entertainment Cheese. Thank you very much.
I wore that little Boulder hat once. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I actually didn't wear the uniform. I just fixed video games. Hey, coming up, Dave Hickey got an extension. I'll give you my reaction. I want to get yours. The athletic director of the University of Arizona gets his extension approved by the Board of Regents. We'll talk about that next. That's Dragon Ball. I'm Rich Herrera. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Rich Rare Radio Show with you. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday. It's opening day 2022 of the Major League Baseball season. It's also opening day for the Wildcats Radio 1290 stream. We're now available on YouTube, Facebook Live at Wildcats 1290, and, of course, our website, wildcatsradio1290.com, for the occasion. I thought I'd dress formally today, Dragon Ball.
And I give you all the credit in the world for that, but I told you I've been telling you all week, it's gonna get trying after 3 hours of sitting in a tux and just sitting there.
Right.
Because normally in a tux, you want to be moving around a little bit, give it a chance to breathe every so often, but you're going to be sitting there looking pretty in that tux, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take before.
And you're a jerk because you kept telling me, it's going to be hot. I'm like, no, it's not. The studio is always cold. First segment, like, man, it's hot in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go get a fan out of the hall to bring in here.
I don't
because you jinxed me.
I don't want to
You're making me think it's hot. You're fat shaming me.
I was not. No.
Yes,
it had nothing to do with
100% fat shaming me today.
No, it was no fat shaming. It's just that when you wear a suit jacket with a dress shirt, it naturally will make your body warmer because you're wearing extra layers. And plus,
so how does David Kelly do it?
I'll tell you this right now.
How does Damian do it? Damian Alameda do it?
When DK and this goes for...
Is that why they're all so skinny?
Well, this goes for a lot of the people I worked with in TV, and this is not universal. There are some outliers to this. But for those that wore jackets...
How does Sean Mooney look so good every night?
Because I can tell you, they're not going to wear the suit jacket when they don't need to. The suit jacket only goes on when they're on air. There's a lot of them that will only wear the suit jacket when they're on air.
So second the red light comes on, they're wearing the jacket, red light goes off, they take it off.
The minute that they don't have to be on set or on camera, the suit jacket comes off.
So in between breaks, you're telling me I should take off my jacket.
I would suggest take off the jacket, but make sure
I'm going to wear it just out of spite.
I mean, and you can. I mean, even
just to be spiteful to you, I'm going to wear it the whole show.
Even the great Bud Foster,
right?
I worked with him a lot,
right?
When I worked at KLD, was not a big jacket guy. He would not wear his jacket.
I got the tux. I got the pocket square with the American red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Because the last time I wore this tuxedo was to a military ball.
Right.
I got a real shirt.
And again, that's going to be part of the problem is that you got a real fancy dress shirt, and those naturally don't breathe that well.
I am pretty fancy. I got cufflinks. I got studs on the shirt.
You were just going to be generating heat, and I knew that was coming.
I'm going to be the best maitre d' in town. Is there any restaurants in town fancy enough where people wear a tuxedo, like that work there?
You know, I would say that you could probably get away with that over at like a Churrasco, but they don't do that anymore. They usually just have them wear the polos.
But I mean, like an old school restaurant where they wear a tuxedo.
I can't think of any in town.
Do we have any in town?
I can't think of any in town because I'm usually about a $15 per entree kind of guy.
We have gone to lunch, and you do always suggest we go to a medium-priced restaurant. But with inflation now, that's $15 is pretty much McDonald's.
Oh, you're right. That 20-piece nugget, though, that's pretty good.
I felt bad. Glenn Howell came by the station, and he saw what I was eating for lunch, and, he's one always getting on me about my weight.
He caught you.
He caught me.
He caught you.
So I didn't finish my French fries. Like, that's going to make a big difference. All right, number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can also email us now, studio@wildcatsradio1290.com. Congratulations to Dave Hickey. Gets an extension today from the University of Arizona Board of Regents, approves his extension. It's a pretty big deal. Now, I want to get your reaction from around town. So I'm just going to lay it out for you because I know it's not, if we would have had this conversation a year ago, I bet you the conversation would be a lot different before Adia Barnes took the Cats to the national championship game last year and Tommy Lloyd got the Cats to number 2 in the country. Okay? So for Dave Hickey, he gets an extension, a 2-year contract extension, and a raise. He's been under contract through 2023. This will extend him out to 2025. I think, and and I'm going to get ready to get blasted by fans who are going to disagree with me. I think Dave Hickey has led this athletic department as well as anybody in America could have through the most choppy waters in a typhoon, and kept this university and the athletic department on course through unprecedented. This is not just hyperbole. The man led this athletic department through one of the most tumultuous times in the history of sports. Okay? He led this university through uncharted waters. And he kept this thing afloat during some of the most dramatic time anybody's ever seen in the history of college athletics, a pandemic. He led them through coaching changes galore, an NCAA investigation. I just think he's done such a remarkable job. I'm glad he got the extension. If you agree, I'd love to hear from you. If you disagree, love to hear from you as well. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Coming up, we're going to talk with Lamont Hunley. Lamont, friend, part of the Brotherhood of Arizona Wildcat football. He's going to talk to us about Julius Holt, who passed away earlier this week. A guy bigger than life in this community. That's next. I'm Rich Herrera. That's Dragon Ball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. I'm Rich Herrera. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. We have Dave Rubio coming up on the program, Chip Hale coming up on the program. But I wanted to take some time right now to talk about a man that really, he made an impact in three different ways in this community. And I was telling this to Glenn Howell, and I was telling this to Kelvin Efon. I mean, think about just one of these things would have been enough to make a difference in the world. All three of these is pretty remarkable. In his short lifespan, Julius Holt touched so many different people as a player and part of the University of Arizona Football Brotherhood, working with at-risk youth, and then 30 years for Tucson Youth Football and Spirit. Pretty amazing legacy this gentleman left on a community that he adopted moving from the East Coast. Another friend of ours that came out from the East Coast and made a life for himself in Tucson, Arizona, is Lamont Hunley, and he's joining us right now on Wildcats Radio 1290. Lamont, my condolences to you and the entire Arizona football family.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Rich. I'm telling you, man, it's still numbing, it's shocking. There's not enough words to, express what, we're all going through. Naturally, my heart and everything is for his wife, his two kids. Julia, she's still out there playing softball. It's something her father would want her to do, and she's been such a big lady and such a champion, and out there just enjoying the game and fighting it and getting through these tough moments even for herself. So we are here for the family. I mean, we're here just to get them through this tough time right now.
As you and I get to a certain age and we start losing people, it's really one of those things. Like it's even more shocking because you go through your life and you lose parents, you lose grandparents, but when it's your peers and they leave us at such an early age, it's tragic. But everything I've read, everybody I've heard talk about Julius, I don't know other than he left us way too soon. Everything he did is remarkable, and he probably put 160 years worth of into a 60 years that he was with us in every way that he touched this community. Go back to your earliest recollection of being around him and what he was to Coach Smith's team and into this Arizona football family.
Well, Julius, as you, I believe you spoke of earlier, where Julius came from. Julius shouldn't even been here today. I mean, Julius would come from a rough neighborhood. He came from an environment that, most kids don't even get out of, let alone go to college and get their education, get their masters, get their degrees. Julius should have, a long time ago, had the odds against him the whole time. But Julius was one of those that came here to this university. He surrounded himself around great people. He surrounded himself around people who can help him make a difference in his life, help him achieve things that he needed to achieve, and just give him a different view of life and a different perspective of life. He surrounded himself, with as brothers like myself and Ricky and Randy. He surrounded himself around his fraternity brothers. He surrounded himself around good academic people as well as our coaching staff. I mean, he had people that believed in him and wanted the best for him. And Julius became that person. He became every bit of those little qualities that everybody had within themselves was delivering to Julius. And he wore that on his sleeve. He wore that on his sleeve. Julius was one of these cats that would, at the drop of a dime, he would be in your face, but all of a sudden he's sitting there hugging, kissing, and crying with you. He would cry at the least little emotional thing that would hit him, it affect him. And when I first met the man, he was a gentleman that I thought, well, gosh, who is this guy, Ricky? And I was asking my brother, who is this guy? I mean, he was this big, imposing body that walked on our campus coming from Washington, D.C., with an attitude, and he the first one to tell you he had an attitude about things. He had, a lot on his shoulders, and he dared you to try to knock it off. And he was one of these guys that basically you had to get to know him first. You had to get to know him first. and I was blessed. I mean, we was blessed that we had that opportunity to become friends very early in life. And what's so oddly and crazy is that a baseball mitt, a baseball glove, is what really brought us together. He wanted to play softball, and he had to borrow a baseball mitt from Ricky, and that what really brought us together. He came here as a defensive lineman, and naturally, him playing defensive lineman, we even got more closer to him because it was his job to protect us as far as linebackers. And Jewish got to the point where he protected us on the field and he protected us off the field. I mean, he was just that type of an individual as far as, during my 41 years that I had known this man, and I've been part of his life, and he's been part of my life. And that's the craziest thing. You sit here and you try to reflect on, our lives and things that does take place. And, you never think that you wake up one day and all of a sudden, somebody like that is gone, and he is. I mean, yesterday I'm sitting at the baseball field and watching the softball field, watching Julia play. And there was an emptiness there, a complete emptiness, because I'm so used to having him beside me, cheering his baby on, cheering for his baby and their team, and yelling at the officials just as well, because he was very, very good at doing this and making sure they knew he was there and they was wrong. And that was a big emptiness yesterday, and it's going to be a big emptiness for a very long time. That's not going to be a part of us. But the thing is, the man, he has such an impact in this community on the sports landscape. I mean, he brought so much naturally football and cheer, but he also, did it with softball, because his daughter was a softball player. So he did some things with their organization and make sure their organization was able to go places that sometimes kids can't go. But he was out there front and center and raising money for that organization and make sure these kids go places where they can experience things that Julius didn't have a chance to experience as a kid himself. Again, I think his biggest legacy is what he's done for, the Tucson Youth Football and Cheer program. I believe that program was not doing well before Julius took the Ram. And when Julius took a hold of it, man, I'm telling you, he made some people mad, but he created a lot of friends, because basically he did a lot of things that needed to be done but did not get done. And, I was just, other day, and I was at a doctor's appointment, and one of the nurses there say, "Oh, you know Coach Holt?" I said, "Yeah, he's a great friend of mine." And she said, "Well, Coach Holt means so much to my family. Coach Holt was one of these guys that, when I was growing up, I was out there running around and whatnot, and he was part of my life. But now I got two kids that's in the program, a football player and a cheerleader, and he just means so much for us for what he's doing for that program and what he has done for that program. And and it all goes back to when he was coming from DC and the childhood he grew up around, and he got here and he realized that there's more that I can do to have an impact to young people, so those people don't go down the road that he went as a young child himself. And that what makes me so proud that this man has done this, and I hope Tucson, this community here, acknowledge that in some fashion, in some form, and let it be known as far as what he did for, youth football program and the cheer squad. Because again, if he wouldn't have done the things he's done these past few years, I don't think this organization would be in existence today.
I wasn't going to go there with you, but I am, since you brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the best way? Because, I could sit here with you for hours and listen to you tell stories about this man that made a difference, made an impact. I mean, you could just talk about him as a Arizona Wildcat football player, and we can go for hours and hours at a time what he meant to this football program. We could talk about him working with at-use risk kids at talking about him at Child Protective Services, at being
Right.
in being a mentor in everything that he did, working with at-risk youth. We could talk about how he came back and gave back to the university as an academic advisor. Kelvin talked about all the time. He was on those student athletes because he could stand there and talk the talk because he walked the walk of what it's like to succeed in college. Then we could talk about what he did for Tucson youth football. And especially I'm glad that you brought up the Spirit Squad as well, because there's a lot of little girls that benefited from him caring about our community. How should Tucson remember and keep his legacy alive?
Well, it's the program just got to keep going. I mean, naturally, I think the work that him and his organization and his team has put in place over these few years, I mean, that program got to keep going. And the program operates not only from the top, but the grassroots of things, and the parents, the coaches, the kids, all of these individuals. Every day that they get out on these football field, hell, I mean, put in memories of what Julius Holt has done for them, and wake up and realize that again, if this man and a few other people would not have put themselves out, there would not be an opportunity to be on this field, to play this crazy game we call football. So, I mean, I think it has to be a message that goes through the whole organization, and a message that stick with the whole organization and stay there. And and he, gosh, I mean, I'm telling you, man, there were so many things that I'm in my office. You'll come to my office, we'll sit there and we'll brainstorm, and how can we do this? I got a kid that needs this. How can we do these particular things? And he'll make it happen. He'll figure out some kind of way of making it happen, as far as connections and involvements he had in his community. So I would challenge the organization and again, everybody that's in the organization, from the parents, the community, the kids, the coaches, up to the leadership right now, is that keep his message going. If you keep his message going and what it stood for and what it's all about, Julius will always be a part of their life.
Lamont Hunley joining us right now as we talk about Julius Holt, taken from us way, way too soon, and the stories that you hear and the outpouring of emotion. And the thing that I hear from everybody that talks about him, and maybe you can comment on this for me, Lamont, that, everybody just looked at him and he just got things done. Like you said, there are times where you might not like the way he does it because he's going to get it done. He's not going to take no for an answer. But, I mean, talk about somebody with the purest motives, purest of heart. And I tell people all the time, you can get either bitter or you can get better. And like you said, he came from a rough background, but he never let it get him bitter, I don't think.
Right.
And he just he spread that betterness, not only just for him and his whole family, and that's enough right there just to transform what you're doing, but to do it for an entire generation, 2-3 generations of kids that you worked with in the youth services, and then those are at-risk kids, which God bless them. Those are heartbreaking stories to have to work with those kids. But he worked with all kinds of kids from every different walk of life through Tucson youth football.
Yes, exactly. And, from, those that, was kind of privileged and those that was not. So, I mean, he showed not only the kids, but the parents too, the parents too, how to be good people and how to give back, and how to, work towards the, the one mission that everybody should have had. And that's just the common goal of we can get things done collectively together versus fighting each other constantly all the time. And I mean, you mentioned Jewish in regards to, the things he's done with the at risk kids and stuff. And I remember the time when he was basically working with I think it was Youth on His Own, and this guy was out there in the wilderness in a teepee in a tent, with these at-risk kids, and helping these kids get an identity for themselves and making a difference in their life just as well. And, and it did. It also helped him too. It helped him become, a better man and gave him some soul searching and things like that. So, it's just so many different avenues of life that my friend, had an impact on, and so many different avenues of life that he has such an impact on. There was people over at the University of Arizona when he was academic counselor, Adia Bonds, you know, was one of his kids, and Jewish don't never talks about those things, you know. I mean, basically, it you know, is there front and center, but he never talks about those things. But they know. I mean, when a deal found out that Jew was gone, I mean, it's heartbreaking. And I mean, it just kills us because he was such a giving man, and he shouldn't be taken away from us so early. He had so much more to give to this community and put in front of this community that, you know, he should still be here working. He still should be here working for us and for, you know, for the kids and for, you know, everybody that's involved. And it's going to be rough, Rich. I mean, it's going to be rough. And, you know, we got our alumni weekend coming here. And once again, there's going to be an emptiness there that's, you know, everybody expect to see, you know, Big Hope walking around the corner with his little groove and his little slowness, you know, and that's not going to be there. It's not going to be there, you know. And soon he get around that corner, he got his opinions, you know, he got his strong opinion about things that sometimes didn't make, you know, much sense to me, but in the end, we sit there and we listen and laugh and hug and kiss and, you know, and go on to the next issue. So this weekend is going to be hard. It's going to be hard for a lot of people that this man been part of their lives for a long time, and particularly mine, 41 years, and that's a long stay.
You know, you mentioned you guys might disagree, and some of the discussions would get heated. One thing that sounds like to me when you talk about him is respect. He taught kids about respect because he was a man that obviously had to learn with his background how to get ahead, how to stay on the better track, and to have respect for himself and give respect and teach respect and demand respect from all these kids he worked with. Talk about how he empowered these kids that didn't have role models and might not have had dads or not come from a family that taught them the difference between being a man or a young woman and doing things the right way.
Well, I mean, again, he did it by example. He showed them. He told them. Okay, I mean, here I am. You know, as far as a person who did not have, you know, a parent basically here to show me, you know, how to be a man. I did not have, you know, a mother to show me how to treat women the right way. Okay, I mean, I came from a community where, you know, you figure out a way to get your next, you know, opportunity in life. And he expressed that to these kids in regards to, you know, you go this route and you do these particular things. I mean, the end result is not positive. The end result is basically you'll be locked up and you'll be behind bars and then you're no good to anyone at that point in time. You know, and the key, the whole thing with the respect aspect of it that I always got from Julius is that you get my respect because I'm going to give you the respect. Mm-hmm. And I think Julius always brought that forefront with any conversation or any involvement that he has been part of. You know, he made sure that he respect the person who has crossed him first and foremost. And you respect him for obvious reason or whatever reason may be. And he had his agenda why he need to respect that person at that point in time. And then that person showed me respect, then things will get done. You know, things will get moved forward and things will get done. You know, it's real simple in regards to, again, how he operated, because the fact is that he knew that if I asked you for something, okay, if you ask me for something in return, I'm going to do the same thing for you. And that's a form of respect from one man to another. And Julius had that forthcoming. He always had that. You know, there's not a chance in anyone's life that Julius had a relationship with. If you ask him to be front and center, he was front and center, and vice versa. So he practiced what he preached to these kids, and that's how, you know, these kids saw Coach Hope. They saw him in that fashion. He was true to his form. There was nothing, you know, hiding behind any closed doors or any curtains whatsoever when it came to Julius Hope. I mean, he was true man of himself, and here I am, front and center. And again, you might lack some of the things I'm about to say, and you may not. But yet and still, when it's all said and done, we're gonna walk away from this meeting, or we can walk away from this environment, this this conversation where I'm going to still respect you, because someday we might have to meet again. So I just want to make sure I respect you in the process, because we're going to meet again someday. And then by that chance, maybe your opinion may have been changed.
Help me out with something, because, you and I are old school, and I've known you for a long time. I see all these kids today, and everything's on TikTok and Instagram, and we only kind of show people what we want. Give an example of Julius. Like you said, he was going to be the first to cry, he's going to be the first to yell, and he's going to be the first to hug you. So many times people are so phony with their emotions because we live our lives on social media. He was,
yes,
when I hear these stories about him, they're all genuine. He did not. You got what you saw. He was not putting. He was not pretentious. He was not putting on airs. If everybody would be like that, wouldn't the world be a little bit better?
Oh, by all means. I mean, if we can clone Julius and that number 50. It's all up here from there as far as a lot of the craziness that does take in our society, and because there was no room for him to be selfish. No room whatsoever. And, if we could, have people think that way and move the needle that way, a lot of this craziness and animosity and stubbornness that does take place in our society wouldn't stand today. It wouldn't even be a part of it and stuff. And that's what's one of the things that he tried to, make change in these kids. There's no room to be, selfish, and there's no room to be an individual. We need to do this thing collectively and work together, as a team. And, because everybody knows there's, again, no I in team, as we say. And he was one of those that realized that in order to, do this, we need to do it together. And we need to make sure everybody is on the same page and not being one-sided about, what the message is and what life should be all about. And if we had enough of them, you're right. It'll be a total different, way of looking at society, or what society would be right at this point.
Can I beg of one more question from you?
Yes, go for it.
So you talk about Julius, and he's gone too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And all these stories that we've heard are simply inspiring. I didn't know the man, knew of him, heard stories of him, but because of you and all the Larry Smith players that I know, and then all the stories that we've heard, it's awfully moving. If you could take one thing from him and kind of spread it out to everybody, and it goes viral, just one little thing that he did in his life, that if I picked it up today, and David, our producer, picked it up today, and somebody listening in the car picked it up today, and people that work with you at Arizona Health picked it up today, if there's just one little thing that he did that we could all carry with us to keep this going, what should it be?
Well, I think the thing that he did on a regular basis that I think we could do and keep it going is that he would always greet and meet his family and the kids and the people that he cared about.
Mm-hmm.
He would always tell them he loved them.
Mm.
He would make sure Julia know. He would tell. Not just his kids, but me too. He would let me know how much he loves me. And just hearing that word, I love you. And sometimes it's kind of hard when we as knucklehead men can't
right.
tell another man that you love him. Okay, but it was very easy for Julius to say I love you. To us, naturally to his babies and to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But to another man that looks just like him across from him, he can still say, I love you to you. And if we as a society, particularly men, can continue to express that word and let other people know how you really care for them and being genuine about it and real about it, I think we as a society can become better people at that point in time, because now we get, that emotion inside of us, and that's part of us and becomes part of your DNA. And show that emotion and show that love for mankind and remove some of this crazy and selfishness that's out there. And it's a shame that, we got to wait for someone like a Julius Hope to pass away in order to try to make a change like this. It should be this way anyway. It should be this way anyway. Society should be this way anyway. So, let's express more love. Let's put more love out there and put it in front of us. And, and don't be ashamed to say it, because it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful word. And it makes someone else happy for that moment. And maybe that person will take that happiness with them, through their day. And instead of, being upset or being disgruntled throughout the day, Lamont Huntley told me, I love you. So his day or her day can be more productive day. And then they pass it on to the next person.
Wow. I know this is a tough time for the Huntley family and the Holt family and the entire Arizona football family. Like you said, spring game is going to be a little different this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
With everybody there. But I'm sure there's going to be some great stories told.
Yeah.
There'll be more than a few tears and a lot of laughs. And I'm just thinking, what do you think Larry is saying to Julius as he walks in, right?
Oh, yeah. Wait, I'm telling you, man. So, he was the first one open the Golden Gates for him and then welcome him into it. Hey, come on over here. We still got some stuff that we got to finish, even up here. Let's sit down and talk. Julius, tell me how your last few years was. By the way, I was watching you. I had my eyes on you. You did this right, but we could have done something better over here, Julius. So trust me, hey, Coach Smith is front and center, and like I said, he had that gate open, and he probably, at that point in time said, by the way, here's your mother, here's your father, and they had a few things to talk about you too. So let's get this corrected while we're at it.
All right, let me try this then. You know how much you mean to me. You know how much I love the Huntley family. You know how much I love the Larry Smith football family and everybody around here. So let me try this. Hey, Lamont?
Yes, sir.
I love you, brother.
Thank you. And I love you too, my man. I love you too. And I tell you, right now, hey, from there, our day is complete. Our day is complete. And we're going to make a difference from the next person. And Julius is sitting here listening to our story right now, Rich. He's listening to everything we're saying, bro. Everything he's saying. And the biggest blessing I had the chance to sit there and talk to him and whisper in his ears and let him know that, I'm here for you. I'm here to carry things on and let him know that I loved him and I love his family. And there's still things that he needs to complete. And if there's things we're going to make sure we get complete and make it happen. So, it's life continue regardless if he's here or not, but life shall continue, in some fashion. And we just got to keep it going, Rich. Just keep it moving and everything's going to be okay,
So for the folks at Tucson Youth Football and Cheer and Spirit, anything this radio station can do to help keep Julius's legacy alive, you can count on us. Whatever we could do to help promote Tucson Youth Football in Spirit, that we're going to be behind it 100%. Lamont, my best to the Huntley family. Please pass all this along to the Holt family. I think from everybody in Tucson. We're saddened, but we're glad, we're happy, we're thankful, we're blessed that Julius Holt could have made his life anywhere in America. He didn't have to stay here in Tucson. He could have gone back to D.C. He could have gone anywhere. Could have gone to Los Angeles. He could have gone a lot of different places, but he chose to stay here in our community, and we're better off for it.
Yes, we are. We all are. And our buddy, like I say, our buddy gonna sit here and he's up there, keeping his eyes over every one of us, and every now and then you're gonna feel a hand over your shoulder, and trust me, that Julius wrapping his arms around us and letting us know that he's okay.
Lamont, I love you. Thank you so much. I'll catch up with you soon.
Brother.
I'll see you this weekend.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Lamont Huntley, the great Lamont Huntley, joining us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Wow. Pretty powerful. All right. I've completely ruined this portion of the program. We went way too long. I apologize. It was worth it, though. Thanks to Lamont Huntley for joining us. We'll continue. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. out to High Corbett Field to see the Cats take on the Cougs. Joining us right now, baseball coach, head baseball coach, University of Arizona, Chip Hale, our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. And I guess, can I say happy opening day because Major League Baseball's getting going this week, Chip?
Yeah, of course. I was excited. I, sent out some of my texts to guys who are having their opening day. But yeah, it's definitely a happy opening day to everybody.
What is special for you? What was your favorite part of opening day?
It always felt like Little League again.
That's a great way to put it because there's so much going on.
Right? It felt like Little League, and we were going from the pancake breakfast over to the field for our first game, and even as an old coach last year in Detroit, we felt that way. It just you get a little jazzed up, and it's a great feeling. It just stinks the next day when you go back in and you realize now you got 161 more of the same games.
I always laughed that, you show up opening day and everybody, I'd pull my kid out of school, people would call in sick, and you'd have a sellout on opening day, and then usually it's a Tuesday or Wednesday, and you come back, and there's 5,000 people in some places I worked.
No doubt. 100%. And it was always a rub. It's like such a fun night or fun day. And then, day two. Well, a lot of times now on the East Coast, Rich, you get that day off, because we played in the snow in Detroit, and then we had the next day off and then played the third day. I don't know why we played that first day since the snow. That's the whole point of having that day off. But, it was 2 days of doing nothing.
Exactly. All right. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Arizona Wildcats. 4 home runs against Arizona State. We were talking with Brian Jeffries this week about those Tuesday games because for me they're hard. They're hard to judge because it's not your Friday, Saturday, Sunday starter. You see different kids getting a chance to get some real game time. How do you approach Tuesday games?
Yeah, it's been difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's frustrating. It was very frustrating up at Phoenix Muni against the Devils, to lose the game, number one, and just not to play solid baseball. We'd played so well at Grand Canyon the previous Tuesday against a really good team, and then gone up to Washington and battled some inclement weather and then played really well. And then to go and not play our good defensive game and give them way too many outs. We had a chance to really, George Arias pitched great. And that's the approach. You ask about approach. You're giving other guys opportunities to pitch. Possibly, maybe even, Tommy Splains caught a couple of them, giving Daniel some time off. But, you look for some backup guys or backup pitchers, in your number of relievers and starters to get a chance. And we haven't had a lot of success at it. We've lost to New Mexico. We lost to ASU. So it's been disappointing.
We're talking right now with Chip Hale, our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Don't forget Military Appreciation Week, all weekend long as Washington State comes in. I got to tell you, Chip, we went out, 2 weeks ago when you were home, and I was just amazed at the energy in the ballpark. Folks, if you haven't been out there with the new concessionaires where you can just walk up and grab a beer, a water, or soda, and actually walk through, and they have I don't know, where you scan the code and you don't have to stand in line to get that. The food was phenomenal. The energy was phenomenal inside the ballpark. It really had a real feel to it, Chip.
Yeah, no, they've done a really good job with all that. And I think we've played good baseball at home and played, obviously with Stanford and then UCLA. So really good competition. And the fans showed up for us. And it wasn't the best weather yet. Like you said on the preview here, we're going to have some beautiful nights, 2-night games or probably in the 70s and 80s. It's going to be great weather for baseball.
And the people I was sitting around, they didn't know who I was. We just sat underneath the shade, my wife and I, and they were talking about, there's a different feel to it. Now that we have theme weekends, kids run the bases on Sunday. There's more of a carnival college baseball fun atmosphere at High Corbett this season.
Yeah, I think, they've done some stuff that I've seen, at major league ballparks and especially minor league ballparks to make it more fun. It's supposed to be fan friendly. It's supposed to be fun for kids. There's plenty of downtime in baseball. where we can do some fun stuff. They can show some cool stuff on the big screen of guys, acting a little goofy. It's okay, it's okay to let loose and let the fans know about you a little bit.
Is it different for you? Because, I remember, and I didn't spend a lot of time around college baseball, so the first time I started coming around and I saw the guys in there chanting and yelling and screaming, I'm like, okay, this is a little different than what you and I are used to. Is it fun when you get to have that extra personality because it's college baseball and these guys are having fun because they're still college kids?
I think it's great. It prepares them for the next level. It prepares them for life. Sometimes we're so serious about this and forget about it. It is a game. These are young guys playing it, and we want to win. But they're obviously going to, they have to be themselves sometimes.
Right. And that's what I love about coming out and watching the Cats. You mentioned Daniel. It's nice to give him a day off on Tuesdays, but he'll be back behind the plate or wherever you're going to put him out there against Washington State. Talk about his development. He got added to the Golden Spikes watch list this week. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal, and he deserves it. He's one of the top hitters and catches almost every game for us. It's a tough deal for him because – right now these scouts are in such a mode of trying to pick him apart. He's supposed to be in the top 10, the top 10, 20, the top, whoever knows, but it's somewhere in that first round. So all we keep hearing from scouts is why this, why that, and we keep saying, well, look at the numbers. They pretty much pan out, and I've been in that situation where you have to try to find the faults of guys. It's your butt on the line when you end up drafting them if you're the area scout. So. I feel for him at times because I think he gets criticized for some things he does, and this is a ball player. He's a 21-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid right now, and I think he just gets picked apart pretty good for that stuff and doesn't need to be.
We're talking right now with Chip Hale, our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Just one more question before we let you go, Chip. And again, hey, folks, get out this weekend. The spring game for football is Saturday at noon, so there's plenty of time to be out there Friday night for the 6 o'clock first pitch, Saturday night, 6 o'clock first pitch, and then Sunday you can get to church and then go to the noon first pitch to get against Washington State. Military Appreciation Weekend, all weekend long, as the Cats host the Washington State Cougars. Can I get a little preview of what we're going to see?
Yeah, it should be interesting baseball. Washington State has not had the success I think they started with during the season. They've been on a little bit of a run, of a bad run. They did get a win last week on Sunday against Utah to make, I think, feel better about themselves. So they've always been, I haven't been here, obviously, and from talking to Coach Lawn, they've always been a tough competition here for the U of A. They've had some big wins here in Tucson. They've had some big wins up in Pullman. So we told the players after the ASU loss, we got to suck it up and we got to get back to playing, Wildcat baseball, which is fundamentally sound baseball. And we always feel whether we're playing Stanford or we're playing Texas Tech or whoever it is in on our schedule, if we play our game and play fundamentally sound, we should be okay.
Cats are ranked in the top 25, number 11, according to D1 Baseball, and all over the place. And by the way, I did want to mention it's Military Appreciation Weekend, so there'll be special celebrations all weekend long for those of you that were in the military, active duty, or retired, or those that are thinking about it. If you get out there, they want to make sure that we honor it, and I know that's important to you, Chip.
No, it's going to be great. We got some new hats we're going to wear, and
wait a minute!
Super excited!
A new lid?
Yeah,
I might need one.
Yeah, you got to check them out. It's going to be fun, and anytime we can celebrate our military and the reason why we're even able to play this great game, we're excited to do it.
That's outstanding. Hey, Chip, I appreciate you coming on with us. Best of luck against Washington State, and I'll catch up with you next week.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, take care. Chip Hale joining us here on Wildcats Radio. We continue with you. It would help if I turn on the microphone. We continue with you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. I'm Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for joining us. Our thanks to Chip Hale for joining us, head baseball coach, University of Arizona. Don't forget they're in competition this weekend. Washington State will be on the air with you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as Arizona takes on Washington State this weekend at High Corbett Field. It's Military Appreciation Weekend, so everyone is invited to come out. And they'll have special presentations all weekend long. And Kids Run the Bases coming up on Sunday. Number for you to join us here on the program, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. The number for you to join us. I would like to get a couple little pieces of reaction. Anybody who wants to chime in. And we've talked a lot about Julius Holt over the last couple of days. And we've heard from his teammates and his friends. There's people in the community that he touched, he affected. Boy, I'd love to hear from you today on the program. So, again, 520-848-1290. Our show today brought to you in part by Trajan Wealth. 321-4100, 321-4100. You go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJANWealth.com. You know, what's your legacy going to be? What are you going to leave for your family? What are you going to do right now to prepare how to take care of your family? I've talked about this. My mom and dad both lost them within the last couple of years. One of the things they did to help take care of us is we have to pick up and go without them. They put everything into a trust. They put their house in the trust. They put their possessions into a trust. They thought ahead. They sat down with someone who said, okay, what do you want to do? They met their goals, and believe me, as my brother's been the executor of my mom and dad's estate, having to deal with banks, having to deal with everything under the sun, the house. Thank God they put everything into a trust because it's made life easier for him, for my sister, and for myself, because it's going to come up on a year that I lost my mom. It's been, seems like it was yesterday, but it seems like it's been forever. And all those emotions come up, and it's tough to deal with. It's tough to deal with at that moment. They put everything in a trust. They took care of all their finances. It made life easier for us as we pick up the pieces without them. Are you prepared to do that to help out your kids? Are you going to make life easier for your kids? Unfortunately, when they have to go through what my family's gone through over the last year, how do you have your financial plan set up? So Trajan Wealth, they can help you set everything up in a trust. So you don't have to go to probate, you don't have to go with lawyers, you don't have to deal with any of that. And believe me, it'll make life so much easier for them. So think about the ones that you love, and if you haven't done that, then I think you should call my friends at Trajan Wealth, 321-4100, 321-4100. Sit down, have that conversation. They'll help you with your finances. They'll help you with your estate planning. They'll help you with your investments and everything else that you have going on in your financial life. They're fiduciaries. They're partners with you. They help you reach your goals. That's what they're incentivized to do. They go by the motto, the more you make, the more we make. They sit there and they go, listen, if you want us to handle your finances, we agree to a small upfront fee. When we grow it, we get paid. That's how it works. We have skin in the game with you. And if you don't have that relationship with your financial advisor, maybe it's time to look at Trajan Wealth. 321-4100, 321-4100. Go to TrajanWealth.com, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All right, Dragon Ball, we got a lot to get to because coming up at the top of the hour is...
We're going to be reaching out to Dave Rubio,
who got a new contract extension.
He's going to be here for a little while longer.
You know what? And I had mixed emotions. Because I sat down with him at the beginning of the season, and he was all, well, I don't know. I've been here for a long time. I've talked with Dave. He said, can't we just give Rubio a lifetime contract? Can't we just keep him here? He's like, I don't know. I've been coaching. And I was like, no, you can't leave. You're the dean of head coaches. Fred Harvey's longest tenured coach.
Right.
Right? But as head coaches, it's Dave Rubio.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to go. That's why I was excited. And I didn't know that they were in negotiations. He said, yeah, I'll talk to Dave. But he got his extension, which is tremendous.
Right, and I don't think there was going to be any way Dave was going to be mentioning if he was going to be in negotiations. Dave doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to be like,
No.
oh, I'm talking, but he's not going to even. He wouldn't even let it out that they were even in talks.
No.
Let alone like, oh well, we're progressing. We're getting to a certain number and years and like he's not going to talk about that.
So we're gonna talk to him about his extension, how he's going to stay here with the University of Arizona, which is outstanding for all the student athletes here. That's coming up at 5:00. And if you missed our conversation, we take the best of the program and we try to bring it to you at 5:30. If you missed our conversation, because I know a lot of people are working and just get off work. If you missed the conversation we had at 3:30 with Lamont Hundley, I'll be honest, I teared up.
Oh no, and for good reason.
I teared up. I mean, just such raw emotion. Talking about Julius Holt, and like I said, I didn't listening to everybody talk about that man and what a difference he made in the community is awe-inspiring.
And just the level of care and concern they have for, the family he leaves behind. Everyone's still saying that they're going to be there to watch his daughter play softball.
At Howard University.
Go ahead and make sure that they're taken care of, making sure his wife is being taken care of. This is a man who touched a lot of people's hearts. And because of that, I don't know if anyone that was truly close to him will ever be left wanting, because there will be a great web of support.
Maybe just because I lost family members. I always wonder what's your legacy going to be? What are people going to remember about you?
Oh, you always got to wonder what the dash is going to be.
What the dash is going to be. When they say born 1956, passed away, whatever. What that dash is going to mean. I mean, think about what yours is going to be when you listen to what people said about Julius Holt. How much of a difference can we all make? And then Lamont's advice, just tell people in your life that you love them. It's easy for me to say, hey, Dragon Ball, you're a jerk. You get that on a daily basis from me, right?
Well, you and a couple other folks.
Yeah, hey, Dragon Ball, you suck. We say that with no compunction. I mean, that just gets thrown out as easy as anything.
A nice ribbing every once in a while.
When's the last time anybody said, hey, I love you, I appreciate you, I love you?
It was about right before I went to bed, talked to my dad, and he said, I love you.
See, you're lucky. You've got a great relationship with your dad, and there's a lot of people that do. I mean, that's what I miss about my dad.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball, you're a jerk. No, I'm just teasing. Dragon Ball, I love you. You know that.
I love you too, Rich.
All right. Number for you to join us on the program, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can reach us in the studio. We do have studio email now. I didn't know we had it.
Another way to reach us.
That's right. Another way to complain about the program, studio at wildcatsradio1290.com. Studio at wildcatsradio1290.com.
All right. Now that you say that, it's going to be just a bunch of emails just saying, hey, you guys are a bunch of jerks.
As opposed to what I talked to my brother?
Yeah, true.
All right. Today's opening day of Major League Baseball, but it's also opening day of our live stream. Dun, dun, dun.
We are now on the camera.
Are we worldwide?
We can be. I don't know if we are.
All right, we're nationwide now.
We are at the very least nationwide.
So you could see us anywhere on YouTube.
Yes.
Like I had somebody from Florida say, hey, it looks pretty good.
There you go.
So we're now on YouTube. We're also now on Facebook Live, and you can stream the audio or the video of this program. We're turning it into the 39th best. That's our goal, to be the 39th best show on local YouTube.
39th best. We are looking to try and at least beat out that live stream of puppies or whatever it is.
No, it was fifth graders.
It was fifth graders.
Fifth graders working on cactus.
Right. But I think there was another one that was like little animal like cameras or something like that.
You can't beat puppies. We'll stay number 39. But we're trying to turn this into one of the most mediocre YouTube shows that you could find anywhere.
At the very least, that's what our goal is.
But today, I went formal. So if you want to check it out, you can go to our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. I told Dragon Ball I was going to dress up for the occasion. Since it's opening day of Major League Baseball, I usually would wear a suit and tie on opening day.
And you went even further beyond.
Because it's a big deal that we now have video streaming, and we've turned this into a mediocre television show.
And you went and showed up in your tuxedo.
Yes. I look like a waiter at a fancy restaurant.
By the way, I think I got one restaurant that does do maitre
the waiters
d's.
Dress up as maitre d's?
I believe it is Fleming Steakhouse still does maitre d's.
Have you ever been someplace, like I went on a cruise once and there was a captain. I don't even know what a captain did, but I had to tip him.
Well, he keeps the boat afloat. So
No, the captain in the dining room.
There's a captain to the dining room.
There was a captain, there was a waiter, there were busboys. We had to tip everybody out. I don't even know what the captain did.
Yeah, what does the captain in a dining room
I
do?
I worked at I know you enjoy medium priced restaurants.
Right.
I've worked at pretty fancy steakhouses. We didn't have a maitre d'. We didn't have a sommelier. You know, the little guy who walks around with the silver cup.
Yes.
And we had hostesses. But I never worked with a captain.
I don't know.
I guess it wasn't that fancy. You know, the other thing I couldn't do was the bread scraper. You know, have you ever been to? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I can recall what you're talking about.
It looks like a straight razor, and they use it. It's to get all the crumbs of the bread up off the table, and then you're supposed to flick your wrist, and you catch all the crumbs, and then you put them in your pocket. Every time I flicked it, all the crumbs would get all over the customer, so I just quit.
Yeah, no, the only thing I could think of is just like throwing out like pocket sand at people. That's the only thing outside of my phone and wallet that has been in my pockets other than it's been sand and my personal items.
All right, I do want to get into this. I got a very important question for everybody. Okay? So this is research. I need your help. Because as we transition from football to men's basketball, now to Arizona Wildcat baseball, but we'll also have other things we want to talk about. Which Major League Baseball team does Tucson root for? Because I'm simply going to ask you this because it's something we're going to talk about on the program. Do you want us to talk Diamondback baseball? Do you want us to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers? Would you like us to talk about the Chicago Cubs? The Cleveland Guardians, or Los Gigantes de San Francisco. We'll talk about that next. Who's your team, Tucson? 520-848-1290. I'm Rich Herrera. That's the Dragon Ball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. website. Sorry, I forgot to turn my. See, there goes our perfect broadcast today.
It's okay. This is the first one.
I got distracted by the Dragon Ball cam.
The Dragon Ball cam. No, the Dragon Ball cam wasn't even on there.
I know. That's why I got distracted. I'm going to change that to Dragon Ball cam.
Dragon Ball cam. That works.
There's lots of different ways to listen to the program. Of course, Wildcats Radio 1290 AM here in Tucson. You can listen to us on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com, and the Wildcats Radio 1290 app, as well as TuneIn, Odyssey, the iHeartRadio app, Alexa, and your smart speaker. You can say, Alexa, play Wildcats Radio 1290, and that'll happen. I wonder if that just happened in somebody's house. Like, what?
If it did, they don't need to take that step. We did it for them.
Thank you very much. And now available on YouTube, Facebook Live, at Wildcats 1290 for YouTube, at Wildcats 1290 for Facebook, and the television version of this show is now also available on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. So lots of different ways for you to catch the program. And to see what Dragon Ball looks like. I get people asking me about you. What's Dragon Ball like? You don't want to know.
Yeah. I'm not as exciting as people imagine me to be, I think.
Oh, you're a wild and crazy party animal. Now, I did
far from it.
I did tell. Sorry, I keep touching this microphone. They got me a new microphone because now we're doing streaming video as well.
No,
but
that's not the reason why they got you. They got you the new mic stand because you kept fiddling with it a couple days ago.
Well, because it broke. This one is different.
Yeah, because you broke it.
I didn't break it. It was getting broken. Look, there's Hall of Famer, country radio Hall of Famer Buzz Jackson walking by.
Yeah, he always likes to
jealous?
walk around here. Oh, he when he saw you in that tuxedo, he had to do a double take.
Well, I said because today's opening day of Major League Baseball and opening day of our streaming app that I was going to go formal today, so I'm wearing a tuxedo. So if you want to see a fat guy in a monkey suit, go to wildcatsradio1290.com and you can see the streaming version of our program.
Hey, whatever reason you want to